Imagine a ship, once a beacon of hope, now drifting through the cold vacuum of space, its crew mysteriously gone, leaving behind a lone survivor with no memory of how he got there. This is the harrowing beginning of Project Hail Mary, a science fiction masterpiece that throws us into a galactic race against time to save humanity. Welcome back, cinematic explorers, to another deep dive into the stories that captivate us. Today, we're unraveling every scientific puzzle and emotional beat of Project Hail Mary, from its mind-bending mysteries to its heartwarming friendships. Get ready for a full story recap, ending explained, and all the hidden details you might have missed. The film opens with Dr. Ryland Grace waking up in a medical bay aboard the spaceship Hail Mary, disoriented and unable to recall his identity or mission. An automated voice, Mary, informs him of his status and that he is the pilot, a claim he immediately refutes. He discovers his ship is far from Earth, orbiting an unfamiliar star, Tau Ceti, and a sense of dread begins to set in. Flashbacks reveal the impending global catastrophe that led to this mission. Mysterious alien microorganisms, dubbed astrophage, are consuming the sun's energy, causing it to dim, threatening Earth with an ice age and mass extinction. The world's scientists are desperately trying to find a solution, but public panic grows as the grim reality of Earth's fate sinks in. Enter Dr. Ryland Grace, a former molecular biologist now working as a middle school science teacher, known for his unconventional theories. He's recruited by Eva Strat, the no-nonsense head of the Petrova task force, who sees his unique perspective as Earth's last hope. Strat challenges Grace on his radical theory that life can evolve without water, a concept directly related to the strange nature of astrophage. She reveals that astrophage samples, having splashed down, defy all known biological rules, surviving in extreme conditions, hinting at Grace's potential value. Grace is tasked with analyzing the astrophage in a secure, argon-filled lab, a dangerous environment where any suit breach could be fatal. He confirms the astrophage are alive and cellular, marking humanity's first contact with alien life. To his surprise, the astrophage are almost entirely composed of water, contradicting his long-held, controversial theories. Grace discovers that astrophage consume solar energy and expel it as infrared light for propulsion, effectively shooting to scoot. He deduces their inexplicable journey to Venus is for breeding, as the planet's CO2 atmosphere contains the exact infrared frequency they emit. Strat recognizes Grace's unconventional genius and recruits him for a top-secret project, emphasizing his unique ability to challenge prevailing thought. Grace accepts the challenge, fueled by a desire to contribute to the global effort, despite his initial reluctance. Working with a colleague named Carl, Grace hypothesizes that Venus's carbon dioxide atmosphere acts as a breeding ground for the astrophage. They create a miniature Venus in a box, simulating its atmosphere to observe astrophage behavior. To their amazement, the astrophage reproduce rapidly in the CO2-rich environment, confirming the Carl hypothesis and a critical breakthrough. Grace is then briefed on Project Hail Mary, a desperate last-ditch effort to save Earth. The mission involves sending a crew to Tau Ceti, the only uninfected star in their region of the galaxy, to find out why it's immune. The astrophage, now bred on a massive scale, will power the Hail Mary, a near-light-speed spaceship. The journey is one way, with the astronauts expected to die after sending their findings back via probes, a grim reality Grace reluctantly accepts. He learns he was one of 3 astronauts on board, along with Commander Yao and Ilyakina, who have since died during the long journey. Grace, now the sole survivor, mourns his fallen crewmates, feeling the immense weight of the mission on his shoulders. Back in the present, orbiting Tau Ceti, Grace discovers the star also has an astrophage line, yet it's not dimming, deepening the mystery. The ship's sensors detect an alien spacecraft, a Blip A, approaching the Hail Mary. Grace embarks on a spacewalk to investigate, preparing for first contact with an unknown entity. Inside his lab, he's frustrated by a broken spectrometer that constantly reads xenon as a solid, baffling his scientific understanding. An alarm blares, signaling a foreign presence inside the Hail Mary, leading to a tense encounter. Grace discovers an alien, a large, rock-like creature, in his lab, repairing the spectrometer. The alien, who he later names Rocky, has created artificial gravity within his own ship, demonstrating advanced technology. Grace and Rocky begin to establish communication through a shared understanding of mathematics and scientific principles. Rocky's species uses echolocation, requiring surfaces to see, which explains his prior confusion with Grace's helmet. They use numbers and concepts like time to bridge the linguistic gap, gradually building a rapport. Rocky, with a keen scientific mind, quickly deciphers Earth's oxygen composition, even designing a breathing device for Grace. They discover shared interests and a mutual understanding of basic concepts, fostering an unlikely friendship. Grace records their progress, detailing Rocky's unique biology, his reliance on xenon-based technology, and his method of puppet shows to explain complex ideas. Rocky reveals that his star, Arid, is also being consumed by astrophage, meaning they share a common enemy. They share their personal losses, with Rocky mourning his 23 fallen crewmates and Grace recounting the deaths of Yao and Ilyakina. Their shared plight solidifies their bond, culminating in their version of a fist bump, symbolizing their partnership. Together, they devise a daring plan, to use the gravity of Tau Ceti to align with the Petrova line and collect a sample of the astrophage. Grace reflects on his memory loss, realizing it prevents him from remembering details about his past life or why he was chosen for the mission. Rocky explains Iridian sleep, which is a state of paralysis, requiring a watcher for safety, highlighting his species' vulnerability. Flashbacks reveal the Hail Mary crew selection: Grace, Yao, pilot, and Ilyakina, engineer. A demonstration of astrophage's explosive power goes awry, showcasing the extreme dangers of their mission. Rocky, now a roommate on the Hail Mary, enthusiastically joins Grace in his lab, eager to contribute to the mission. Grace struggles with Rocky's lack of personal space and constant questions, leading to humorous cultural clashes and a discussion about boundaries. Grace discovers Rocky's enhanced senses, including hearing whispers from across the ship and seeing through walls. Grace deduces that his crewmates died from radiation poisoning from the astrophage fuel tanks, a problem Rocky was shielded from by his own biology. Rocky suggests using planetary gravity to rest in the astrophage line's orbit, a brilliant solution Grace hadn't considered. The Hail Mary approaches Tau Ceti, their target planet, where they hope to collect a crucial sample. Grace uses a mental health node to simulate Earth environments, sharing his nostalgic experiences with Rocky, who expresses his own longing for home and his mate. Rocky reveals he has a mate on Arid, with whom he has been for 186.3 years, a concept Grace finds both fascinating and a little sad, given his own past relationship. A flashback shows the Hail Mary crew's final party on Earth, a mix of camaraderie and solemn acceptance of their one-way mission. Grace recalls Strat's tough leadership and the crew's bravery, understanding the immense sacrifice everyone is making. Arriving at Tau Ceti, Rocky humorously criticizes the planet's uninspired name. Grace decides to name the planet Adrian, after Rocky's mate, a gesture of friendship and respect. Their initial analysis of the astrophage at Tau Ceti shows a puzzling balance of incoming and outgoing astrophage, not the expected reproduction. Grace discovers a complex biosphere on Adrian, teeming with various microorganisms, including a unique predator. Rocky realizes that a microbial predator, Tamoeba, is keeping the astrophage population in check on Adrian, preventing Tau Ceti from dimming. This discovery provides the solution: they need to collect the Tamoeba and bring it back to their respective stars. To obtain a sample, Rocky proposes a daring plan to fish for the Tamoeba using a long chain and collector, lowered into Adrian's dangerous atmosphere. Grace reveals to Rocky that their messages are not live transmissions but recordings to be sent later, confirming the one-way nature of his mission. Rocky is heartbroken to learn that Grace will die alone after the mission, having previously believed Grace would return home. In an act of incredible self-sacrifice, Rocky offers to give Grace half of his ship's fuel, which would delay his own return by 6 years, but allow Grace to go home. Grace, overwhelmed, admits his previous peace with dying was a facade, accepting Rocky's selfless offer. A final flashback shows Strat acknowledging Grace's growth and importance to the mission, though he still struggles to accept compliments. The perilous fishing mission begins, with Grace on the hull, manually retrieving the collector in Adrian's fiery atmosphere. Grace battles extreme heat and turbulence, guided by Rocky, in a nail-biting sequence to secure the Tamiba sample. Despite perilous conditions and a damaged ship, they successfully retrieve the collector and Grace makes it back inside. However, the Hail Mary's fuel tanks rupture, spilling astrophage into Adrian's atmosphere, causing severe damage. Grace and Rocky frantically jettison fuel compartments to prevent catastrophic failure, narrowly escaping the planet's gravity. Another flashback reveals Grace's memory of how he ended up on the Hail Mary. He initially refused the one-way mission. Strat, desperate, reveals her plan to induce a coma and send Grace against his will, believing he is the only one capable. He tries to escape, but Strat, Carl, and other personnel sedate him, ensuring the mission proceeds as planned. Back in the present, Grace finds Rocky severely injured, trapped under debris from the damaged ship, his xenonite body pierced. He manages to free Rocky, who gives him one final, critical message. Grace uses Rocky's xenonite breeder tanks to cultivate a nitrogen-resistant strain of Tamiba, essential for Earth's atmosphere. With the Tamiba successfully bred, Grace and Rocky celebrate their triumph, reaffirming their commitment to save their home planets. Grace gifts Rocky a laptop containing all human knowledge and a model of Earth, symbolizing their friendship and shared journey. Rocky, in turn, shows Grace his magnificent ship, a gesture of deep trust and camaraderie. A crucial discovery, the Tamiba, bred in xenonite tanks, has evolved to eat xenonite, meaning Rocky's ship, built of xenonite, is effectively a ticking time bomb. Grace faces an impossible choice: use his remaining fuel to return to Earth, or divert to save Rocky, knowing it means sacrificing his own trip home. He sends his final logs to Earth, confident they have enough information to save humanity, and prepares to sacrifice his journey home. Grace heroically flies his ship to rendezvous with Rocky, who is stranded and slowly dying as his xenonite ship is consumed. They escape, and Grace records a final message with Rocky for Earth, officially introducing their Iridian friend. The message ends with a hopeful, "Let's begin," signaling a new chapter for humanity. The epilogue reveals Grace chose to save Rocky, redirecting his course to Erid, where they work together to seed the Tamiba and save Rocky's star. Years later, Grace is teaching children on Erid, showing them a biodome of Earth plants and sharing stories of his home. His decision to save Rocky, and by extension Erid, has led to a new life, fulfilling his purpose not as a reluctant hero, but as a teacher and friend across species. And there you have it, the full, awe-inspiring journey of Project Hail Mary. What an incredible tale of sacrifice, friendship, and the boundless spirit of discovery. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your fellow sci-fi enthusiasts, and subscribe for more epic movie explanations. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And most importantly, let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite moment from Project Hail Mary, and what movie should we recap next? Until next time, keep exploring the cosmos of cinema.